So, as you may know, as a fan of this Boles.tv live stream, we're big into AI, artificial intelligence. It's going to be the biggest challenge of our lifetime because the people in power, politicians, the companies who create AI, and people with money are going to have access to AI that is very advanced, more advanced than we mere mortals are allowed to use. That is going to be a problem because they're going to be able to do things, magnificent, wonderful, scary, threatening things to us and for us and about us that we cannot really do back to them because we don't have access to that form of advanced AI. Now, if you hear some rattling in the background, they are using cement saws across the street. We have a lot of construction going around. So I apologize for that. So we, as normal, average, human beings, need to embrace AI, learn how to use it to our advantage, so we don't get left behind, because we're already left behind, because the access we have to our AI is not advanced as what other people have, who have more access, power, and money. And that's a bad thing. So ChatGPT is a big AI company. They announced this week that they are going to be bringing voice to their ChatGPT bot. Now, you could always, on like iOS, on your iPhone, ask a question using the microphone. But you get back an answer in text. So I guess the new idea is you can ask a question on your microphone and you're going to get a reply in a voice, which theoretically means you could be like walking on the street in a room having a voice conversation with your AI bot. You don't have to be typing anymore. You don't have to be reading anymore. You can just speak your question and you get an answer back from your bot. That's interesting. I guess they're also going to be adding AI image creation through DALL-E, which will be very interesting because right now ChatGPT Plus cannot do images, but it's coming soon. The other thing that's very interesting that I've always wanted to do, and I've been trying to figure out how to do it for about a year, is how to take all of this podcast information that I have based on my voice and translate it into an AI voice. And there were very complicated, very expensive ways you could do that. Like Stephen Hawking, a long time ago when he was alive, had his voice cloned so that when he lost his voice due to his disability, he was able to type in his computer and his computer would voice in his AI voice that was based on his real voice. Sounds confusing. It is. I know. I apologize. And here's the explanation. So using 11 Labs, you can now create your own voice. And it takes about a month for them to clone your voice. So you have to upload to their servers about 3 hours of you speaking. Now, for a lot of people, that's a lot of talk. But if you have a podcast and there's no music, no background noise, it's just you speaking, it can turn out very interesting and very well. And it sort of has. I've been experimenting with it. I'm going to be doing some Human Mean podcasts using my AI voice. I call myself Atomic Dave. And my AI research team as we create this AI experience that is completely virtual and the uncanny valley. And I'm there doing it, but I'm not the one performing it, if you know what I mean. So this is my voice that has been fine-tuned and cloned, right? And I can release my voice, I guess, to other people if they want to use it. Now, the danger, some might say, is, oh gosh, someone could, take your voice, clone it, and then, make calls threatening people, saying terrible things, and everyone's going to think it's you. Very true, but it's going to happen anyway. And hopefully there's some kinds of artifacts that can't be audible to the ear, but can be found later in some sort of spectrum analysis to see if there's a watermark, voice print to say, okay, this is not a real voice, this is an aesthetic voice that was created through AI. Deep fakes is what some people call them. So this is, I guess, I deep faked my own voice, trained it, and, video's next. Well, go to take my, hey, we got these live streams of this wild cat. Download it, make him do weird things. I've already seen some of it happening online with some of the big streamers for fun, where, they can say things and their video is manipulated to make it look like they're saying something else. So once your voice is cloned, then you can create a project and you can do speech synthesis. Now, this is my voice, right? Voice settings. So I'm trying to figure out, there was a project I was working on where I would say something and then I would take a breath. And it was very interesting. And I really don't like the sound of breath in voiceover. But for some reason, in the 3 hours I sent them, I must have breathed something. And the clone got a hold of it and sort of added it. I've only heard it one time, but it was very natural. And I'm trying to figure out how can I invoke my breathing again? I don't know if it's possible, but it happened once. So then I started thinking, how can I get guttural sounds that make speech interesting? And the guttural sounds are like, ope, oh. And I thought, well, maybe I can type them. So I've tried typing them. Hey, yeah, oh, no, well, oof, up, ope. Ope is a Nebraska thing. It doesn't really say ope. It says oopie. And I found out that 3 dots, 3 periods, kind of gives you a little space between the words. So I'll try to play this and see if you can sort of hear it. So you type it in, and then you type generate, and then the AI bot goes and does its thing.
Hey, yeah, no, oof.
Yeah, see, it says oop instead of ope. So this is very interesting. So you can create guttural sounds if you type them out. Now, one of the projects I did was the Oresteia. Now, the what? It's a three-play sequence, and Oresteia got pronounced by me, my AI bot voice, correctly about half the time. Oresteia. The rest of the time it was mispronounced wildly. But all those ancient names, Agamemnon, those all seem to translate pretty well, pretty well. And this was, of course, all a test to see if any of this would work. So you go to projects, and you can create a project. These are my upcoming projects. Evolution of Thought and Meaning. These are all going to be Human Meme podcast episodes, by the way. Future Medical, Son of the Morning Star, the Oresteia. Son of the Morning Star is about George Armstrong Custer. So these are all finished. They've all been converted. They are all waiting online to be shared with you later. So let's go to open. Now, here, this is the opening thing that I wrote yesterday, introducing the Oresteia. And so I begin and end each of these AI podcasts with me talking to you, and then we go into the deep dive research part of it. But I'll play this just because it's funny, I think. And you can see how the tone changes because we're trying to have some fun here with the beep boop. I'll play it for you.
Hey yo, hello and welcome, and meow. Glad to have you with us again here on the Human Meme podcast, influenced and written and produced and voiced with, you guessed it, AI. Oh sure, it's all true. I'm Atomic Dave, and I'm a bot. Beep, boop, blizzard, honk, meow. That's enough proof I'm not real, right? Well, I am real. I am based on the real voice of our favorite David Boles person, dude, but I'm the AI version of that maniac, okay? Yes, okay then. Today we're going to discuss, dissect, and examine the Oresteia. Sounds heavy, right? It'll be an easy lift for us if we do it together. So, let's start with a little background history. Oh, and I should warn you now. Some of these names, even the name Oresteia, can be challenging for me to pronounce as an AI Boles bot voice. Yeah? So patience, please. I'm not perfect yet. I'm not human. The Oresteia is a trilogy of Greek tragedies written by Aeschylus in the 5th century BCE, comprising Agamemnon, the libation bearers, and the Eumenides.
Okay, so there you go. Genius, right? Aeschylus is how you pronounce the name. So sometimes when it mispronounces a name, you can kind of try to spell it out in pieces, and the AI bot will pronounce it in pieces. And if you put them all together like a word, then it really mispronounces it. So it's something that's still a challenge, but I don't mind it. And in the introduction, you can regenerate the introduction. Sometimes it's very morose. Welcome, I'm a bot. Other times it's like, hey, I'm a bot. So finding the balance of how the AI conversion decides to present your voice is really the biggest challenge. And every time you regenerate a paragraph, you get charged for it with the characters that you're using. You have a certain amount of characters allotted to you each month. And I think, the average plan to have your voice cloned is, I think, 2 hours of voice product each month, which is enough and fine. But you can see, as when I'm having more fun with it, I can't just go in there and pretend to be me. I could pretend it's me and not my Atomic Dave counterpart, but that isn't fair. That isn't right. It's sort of hiding and cheating, and you don't want that. So it's really interesting. So you heard the Oresteia. That will be coming to you live in a Human Meme podcast soon. And you can subscribe to that podcast by simply going to humanmeme, HUMANMEME.com. Now, another thing I've learned about my AI bot is sometimes, unfortunately, it prefers to pronounce meme as Mimi. And a lot of people make that mistake. They think that meme, M-E-M-E, is pronounced Mimi. It's not. It's pronounced meme. And sometimes I would have to type it out in my AI bot and say M-E-E-E-E-M, and then it says human meme, which is very weird because I do pronounce it strangely, but not like that strange. So this experiment will continue. Always identify if you're doing research or creating art or submitting work. Always identify, say, look, this is AI research, written by this bot, by that bot, not my voice, AI voice, and you'll never get in trouble because you're being direct with people. The problem is there are going to be people who try to take their AI voice, their deepfake video, their research project created by AI, and push it off on people as if it is their work and their work alone. And that's wrong, and that's not the right thing to do.